Is Chiori going to be playable? Well, I do have the answer for you today because I spent a few too many hours researching this topic. And I can't lie, this simple fashion designer is more important than you think. I really went down the rabbit hole on this one, and honestly, it just goes to show how good the world building in Genshin really is, and it also unveils the patterns which Mihoyo uses when releasing new characters, which definitely will be useful in the future when we get some big characters in version 4.0. I won't talk about that right now, but they're coming. Now, we're gonna go through everything from character lore, voice lines, as well as designs, and a few more things that Mihoyo thought they were a bit sneaky with. Now, I don't even know how a fashion designer will be going toe-to-toe with dragons and giant abyss whales, but honestly, it wouldn't be the weirdest vision holder we got. I mean, we got Karara a few months ago, who is basically a glorified Amazon delivery worker, and heck, if Karara is good enough to have a vision, why shouldn't Chiori? Now, it is fair to say that Chiori is already a fan favorite. She literally has 4.5 seconds of screen time. Yes, I counted to the dot. So, please tell me how a character that's just been unveiled with 4 seconds of screen time has a whole subreddit. Not just a Chiori subreddit, Chiori main subreddit. These guys are so confident we're gonna get her as a playable character, they have the nerve to put Chiori mains. So that just kind of blew my mind. Seriously, these guys act fast. But with 4.3 around the corner, we have a lot of major characters such as Navia, the Raiden Shogun, and Yoimiya. But what do you do when you run out of quests and events to get those 3 Primo Gems? And the shop is looking a bit too expensive. That's where Lootbot comes in. They are a platform that allows us to top up our Primo Gems as well as Stellar Gems. I make sure to use Lootbot when I need to get more Primo Gems because they have safe and secure transactions as well as affordable pricings I'll show you in just a moment. Fast delivery time, so we won't be waiting all day to get our Primo Gems, as well as the trustworthy service. Now, the prices on Lootbot are significantly lower than the ones Genshin tend to offer to just demonstrate how much money you can save. If you were unhinged and bought a whopping 6,480 Primo Gems within Genshin, it will cost you £100. But if you were to do that 5 times, it will cost you 500. But if you were to do that exact same transaction within Lootbot right here, it will only cost you a humble £311. I wonder who is spending that much money. But if I was to spend that much money, I'll probably do that option right there. Alright, click the link in the comments below to go to lootbot.gg where you can find further discounts. Currently there's a 5% discount, so make sure to grab some now. Now, to start off, Chiori already has a really strong connection to another Genshin character you probably didn't realize. And funny enough, this Genshin character is actually on the banner right now. And I'll just let you know, it isn't Zhangling or even Kuki. The answer lies in this very specific character's reveal trailer.
Thank you for choosing Komania Express. Anything you need delivered?
Yep, Komania Express. And that is because she is one of Genshin Impact's very own Amazon Prime's regular customers. Such a small detail I never thought I'd be looking into 6 months down the line. When I first heard about the Komania Express, I just made Amazon jokes, and I still am. It won't stop. This is where she's referenced in Karara's character story, part 4 to be specific, where it kinda tells a very funny story where Chiori forcefully makes an entirely new outfit for Karara. Ashley says quite hilariously to Karara, "What kind of garbage are you covered in?" So you can tell Chiori is very well spoken. She only speaks in the most elegant of ways. Anyways, what's the big deal? She made some clothes. May not seem like a big deal on the surface, but it's actually how she's a lot more interconnected with some of Genshin's major characters. And to find out more, we have to dig through the characters' voice lines about Chiori. Yes, she's been already mentioned quite a few times in voice lines. To be specific, she's been referenced by Charlotte, Lenny, Lynette, as well as Karara. Now, the 2 most important voice lines we're going to go through today is the one by Charlotte and Lynette. In Charlotte's voice line, she says,
I did a little snooping around at Chiori Boutique once. Anyone with a bad attitude is literally sent flying back out the door.
And then in Linny's voice line, it says,
The costumes Linny and I wear for performances were specially tailored by Chiori. Once, Linny was using a small knife for a magic trick and accidentally cut the cuff of his sleeve a bit. She scolded us non-stop. It was scary.
She's definitely not a person to be messing around with. She definitely has a bit of an attitude, and she's definitely capable of looking after herself. She's able to threaten Linny and Lynette fairly well, so she's probably has a lot more going on apart from being a fashion designer. It's been confirmed she made the outfits for Carrara, Linny, Lynette, and Navia. So she is the one responsible for those damn fake cat ears that the internet went crazy a while ago. So it does kind of make sense why she's so highly respected around Fontaine. I mean, have you seen how these guys dress? No wonder she's making a grand appearance in Fontaine instead of Inazuma. Even the animals around Fontaine need to wear the highest quality of garments, unlike other civilized animals around Teyvat. Animals in Fontaine are just different, okay? Okay, still, I hear you guys. For those of you guys who are still saying, oh, it's just character voice line, who even cares? Literally no one checks that. Yes, most people don't, but here's where it gets interesting. There has been a very similar occurrence before, from an extravagant and over-the-top NPC who similarly took a lot of the spotlight for just someone who was supposed to be a side character, and then be referenced multiple times in many characters' voice lines, and then lo and behold released in the next coming versions. If you don't know who I'm talking about, it is Harvey, probably one of my favorite Genshin characters, and not because you both share the same financial situation. Seriously, this guy is unlucky. This guy is so extra, he refuses to hold his own weapon, which is definitely one of the funniest things I've seen in Genshin. Up next, we need to talk about the 4.3 update itself. Now, 4.3 may not have been a huge update compared to some of the other recent ones we've gotten. You know, with the whole continent drowning and, you know, Archons, dragons, you know, the whole shebang. Can't forget the one time, you know, an Archon got decapitated in a trailer. Now, I haven't caught up with the story, but that's what the trailer's showing me, so don't be angry at me. Angry at Mihoyo if I accidentally spoiled anything. I don't even know how we even got to that point yet. But my personal theory is that 4.3 will actually act as a massive marketing campaign for Chiori. Now, with all this being said, we have to talk about her design. Now, we know Genshin refuses to put any more than the minimum effort into NPCs. I made a whole video about this. Click over there if you actually want to find out more. For God's sakes, even critical NPCs like Melus and Silva, two NPCs who have had very, very important and touching parts in the recent story of Genshin, they barely get any effort taken into their design. Melus is basically the generic old man template with glasses and a hat, and poor Silva has it even worse. He basically looks like a generic NPC with a hat and some cheap pair of shades hiding his face. He didn't even get a face. So it begs a question. Why have such an extravagant design for an NPC whose only official role is an art director in a temporary Genshin event about filming a commercial? You know, I know Genshin makes a lot of money, but it does kind of seem like a bad financial decision for that. Even more important characters like Xavier, if that's how you say his name, barely look any different from the NPCs you see walking the street. He was also seen in this trailer, but you know, I don't know if you call that an appearance in the trailer. They couldn't even be bothered to turn the poor guy around. So apart from the obvious playable character looking design, there's more aspects we need to talk about. Now, very suspiciously, we haven't seen the full character model, as it looks like they're hiding the full model with very, very meticulously planned camera angle shots, which it doesn't quite make sense for a standard NPC. What do you have to hide? Well, I will tell you what they have to hide. A vision. Now, visions are items which allow characters to directly channel the power of one of the 7 elements. Now, don't quiz me on that, I don't quite know 100% how it works. What I'm getting at is that every playable character, apart from the Archons and Mr.
Of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale.
It is explained for low reasons why these guys don't have it, but everyone else has a vision. Now, something tells me Chiori isn't going to be the Sovereign Dragon of textiles or the hidden 8th Archon of fashion statements. She is designed in such a way as if it looks like they're hiding something, so her vision could very well be hiding right there, which Genshin in every single shot has decided to hide, and it does look like the focal part of her design, which would make sense, because that's where a vision would be. And finally, the most important part, which does seal the deal for me at least. Now, if you go to the Japanese Genshin Twitter, they recently made a post, which is the final piece of the puzzle. Now, it's not the fact that Genshin put up an entire post just around an NPC, which does look quite professional and they took some time to make this. Critical story NPCs and other characters don't get this treatment, but instead the answer lies right here. Anya Taketatsu. For those of you who don't know who she is, she's voiced some major anime characters in the past, such as Nino from Quintessential Quintuplets, and some of the other characters you can see on screen over here. clearly not a cheap voice actor to source, so something tells me they didn't dish out all of this money just for a simple NPC for a temporary Genshin event. Now the only question that really remains is how good she's going to be, or will she be a disappointment, like some of the most regretted Genshin characters. Now I made a whole video about the most regretted Genshin characters, so find out if your favorite character made the list. Alright, don't hate me, I didn't make the list. See you in the next video.